Welcome back to Swerve Weekly, episode 2. Today I'm joined by Jasper and Toby. How's it going, gents?
Yeah, good yourself?
Oh, not too bad.
Big weekend, Tobes are here.
Yeah. Watched 8 games footy this week, so I should be all across this week.
Big inclusion. Tobe Billings. Let's
All
get
across
involved.
it. So, we'll get into it. We started with the ANZAC Day Eve clash.
It was a shocking game of footy.
Wasn't really great, was it?
Yeah, I thought the Tigers were a lot better than people give them credit for. Like
Correct.
there were a 50-meter penalty and a few free kicks away from it being a really close game.
No, I agree with you there because a little bit of undisciplined. They were a little bit undisciplined, which I think they did. They did very well. They were only down by about 40, and they brought it back at the end,
Yeah.
which is probably what you want to see as a Richmond fan. So, but it was just a bit of a scrappy game, bit wet. So yeah, not much to it there.
Yeah.
We saw Petrarca. He had a great game, probably his best game back. I thought.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I thought the D's almost weakened the fact that they took the foot off the pedal. Like, they're in a position where everything matters from now on.
Yeah.
Correct.
And to take the foot off the pedal against a side they could have beat by 10 goals.
Well, Gorn came off with 15 minutes to go when they were 40-something points up.
I can
think
understand
that-
Gorn coming off, but well, obviously if you lose Gorn, there goes the D's. But
Yeah.
it's just frustrating for D's fans that were probably, when they got out to about 7 goals in front, that we're a chance to get a bit of something going for the rest of the year. So when you
only
play
win
the
by
Tigers,
20?
when you play the Tigers or when you play North or West Coast, you really got to cash in.
You're looking for a percentage boost.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they didn't get it. But
Competition's so close this year.
correct. Move on to the big clash, Anzac Day.
Pies looked good again, didn't they?
We looked good. We beat
My-
your boys.
My boys fought hard. I'm not too hung up over this. You guys were the better side and proved it on the day. Tobes, the big Pies man as well.
Yeah.
So talk us through it, Tobes. What did you like? What did you like about the Collingwood Magpies?
Steele still got it.
Steals a gun.
Oh, Dacos does. And his first game as captain this week as well. He
Yeah,
was
tore
just
it
going
up.
to step up a level. And I was scared in the third quarter and the Bombers got close
Oh,
to level.
mate, Sam Durham. Like that patch of 10 minutes that Sam Durham played, that's just everything for me. That's Gary Ablett Jr. like.
He did. He turned it up, and we dominated that first, I'd say, 40 minutes of the game.
Absolutely.
Probably should have had a few more goals. But
And then we just got it back within 20.
thing is, we went to sleep for about 10 minutes, and you guys kicked 4 goals. And I'm just looking, I'm thinking, we've just let them back in this for all our dominance, all our hard work. But then
You guys set up the
the
ground so
composure.
well.
Jamie Elliott had a blinder. 5 goals and 19 touches.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Tell you what's so
Loves playing
under-
the Bombers, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Tell you what's so underrated or like not spoken about enough about Collingwood. They use the corridor so well, but they also defend it just as well.
Correct.
So they maximise their ability to go inside 50 through the corridor.
Correct.
But all
No,
of a
they-
sudden teams kick in there and it's a turnover and then they're going inside 50 from the corridor yet again. It's a beautiful
And
game
that's
plan.
one thing definitely with the era with Craig McRae. I think we've done differently compared to like other coaches. When we have Bucks, we use the middle a lot more, and it just looks good, a lot quicker.
It just maximises your ability to score from
Correct,
turnover.
which is things that a lot of other teams don't do enough.
Especially with such a mobile forward line.
Correct.
Like Bobby Hill, so mobile. Like even your your key forwards, McStay, obviously, Membry, Myercheck, they're all so mobile.
Yeah.
They're not going to beat you in the air necessarily every week,
Correct.
like a Hipwood or a Danaher, like last year's Brisbane Lions. But they're just so mobile that if they're coming through the corridor inside 50, they're so hard to defend.
What did impress me about the Bombers, Old Gold still got it. Tony Goldstein.
He was all right.
I thought he did. I thought he had a good game. He held up.
He held
In-
up in the ruck
in the
contest.
ruck
It
contest?
was just around the ground. He needed a bit of help.
But thing
Yeah.
is, Cameron was always. We knew Cameron was going to beat him around the ground, but in the ruck contest, he did very well.
Yeah.
He's still got it on gold.
Correct. No, he held up quite well. Yeah.
We'll move on. But
We had the other Anzac Day game, the Dockers against the Crows. And I thought this was going to be a very close game. I thought it could have gone either way, and I actually tipped
I
Adelaide.
tipped Adelaide too.
If you tip Freo, which I was not sure about, then turned out all right. So, yeah.
Tell you what, I strongly dislike 2 hours between these two games of football.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, it was a bit weird.
Like, that was ridiculous.
It was a little bit weird, that one.
Like, it was just you were waiting in the abyss in between the games.
Correct. No, I agree with you there.
No good from the
Fix up
AFL
the time
scheduling,
schedule there, but the
overall, not a bad game of footy.
the Dockers were dominant.
Yeah.
Their midfield was too good. Sarong and Brayshaw tore it up again.
Who do you think's the next captain for Freo?
Caleb Sarong.
Probably is. I mean, look, I rate Sarong over Brayshaw just, to be honest. I think they're both just as good as each other, but I just think Sarong is that more inside mid. He'll go and win the footy just a bit harder than Brayshaw will.
I reckon Brayshaw's a gun. Like, I think...
They're both
but
unbelievable.
I think Brayshaw's got the leadership qualities that, like, clubs dream of to have for a captain. Like, I'm not sure how Sarong is around, like, the group or anything, but Brayshaw, from the outside looking in, seems like the vocal leader at the CBAs, at the centre bounces. He's the one that's often talking to his midfielders. It's not Sarong. But I'd be interested to know what Sarong is behind closed doors.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely.
But yeah, both these sides, they're both really good at home, but neither of them could seem to know how to travel.
Yeah, it's
I agree. Yeah, that's their issue there.
That seems to be the issue with a lot of the interstate clubs, though.
Yeah.
Like, consistently, but also this year more than anything. Like, well, Sydney aren't playing very good at all, but, like, they've had an inability to travel this year. Freo haven't travelled, Adelaide haven't travelled, Port Adelaide have not travelled at all. The Gold Coast are the only one, surprisingly, that have travelled all right. Considering last year they didn't win a game away from home.
Well, Gold Coast haven't had a... They beat Melbourne and West Coast away, and then
they lost to Richmond.
Yeah.
Melbourne. So has any interstate side really travelled well?
Can't think of one.
it'd
off
be
the top of my head,
tough
so
though. Brisbane did all right,
Yeah,
but yeah, they're Brisbane.
that's Brisbane. But have they played on the G yet this year? One
Brisbane.
game against Richmond.
Yeah,
That's not going to count.
And they only won by 20 points. So.
yeah,
That's what I mean. Maybe that'll be a key watch.
definitely,
Swerve Weekly will be keeping an eye on that.
definitely. But no, it was a good game. This one, but Fremantle were just a lot better than them, more composed. Go to the next one, and the Lions came down to Marvel to take on the Saints, and this had a lot of people think it was going to be a close game, and I had the Lions and I had to win by a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I thought they were going to bounce back, and no, they did. We saw Lachie Neale back at his dominant self again. We'll get the 3 votes. 31 touches, 3 goals.
Can we get a 3-2-1, critter?
3-2. I'll give you a 3-2-1 for this game because I did watch most of it. You know who I'm going to give the one? Darcy Wilmot had a great
Darcy
game.
Wilmot
He
had a
great game
fantastic
of
game of
halfback.
footy.
He had a great game. And again, I did notice Zach Bailey a lot. He was around it there, so he gets a 2. And then Neil can have the 3 because he was just dominant.
It was like flashes of the Zach Bailey, like the raw potential that Zach Bailey was seen to have
Correct.
from years ago. Like, everyone was saying he's the match winner, and obviously that hasn't aged terrifically for the Brisbane Lions. But he's still a fundamental part of their side.
No, correct. 100%.
But this performance here was a demonstration of that.
Definitely.
That kind of potential that he has to just change a game of footy.
No, definitely there. Move on to Port Adelaide versus North. The Darcy Tucker legacy game. It was a very good fight from North. They did very well to only get within 9 points. And I'm not going to say they played better than Port, but they were very good, very competitive.
Oh, yeah, very good for North.
Very good for North standard.
I have a hot take.
Go for it.
They scored, out of those last 7 goals, 6 of them were from free kicks and 50-metre penalties. I'll just put that out into the air.
I did notice that one.
I don't know how great North were. Like, I love the momentums of footy and the waves, and if you kick a couple goals in a row, you're likely to kick 6 or 7. But it was almost gifted. I don't want to give too much credit to North when I thought the power were pretty good.
That was
I thought the leaders stood up.
Jason Horn-Francis and fighting half the North team during the game. You see that?
Mate, he's
That was funny.
generational. I don't know the talk about him leaving the huddle with Ken Hinkley and like walking away. That's rubbish. Absolute rubbish. He's a superstar. He's everything that you would ever want to have in your football club, leading from the front, just an absolute bull at the footy, physical, tough, wins hard balls, clearances, effective. Like, he's so unequivocally clear of Harry Sheasel.
No, definitely agree with you there. He's miles better than Sheasel.
But there's people out there that say Sheasel's a lot better than Horn-Francis.
I think Sheasel's copping a little bit of.
He's copping slack at the
Unnecessary
moment, though, for the ineffective ball use.
I
but
think it's a little bit unnecessary, to be honest, because he's still young, and he's still a very good player for his age, and he's still one of the better players in the AFL. You take him on your team,
Yeah.
even to do the role that he plays.
But I don't want him compared to some of the upper echelon players of the comp.
No, he shouldn't
No.
be, because they're different players.
I don't care if you get 30 touches if you kick it backwards 18 times.
Correct.
Like,
Doesn't
what
really
good is
count.
that to me? I've watched Darcy Parish play for 10 years. I know exactly what it's like.
Correct.
Oh,
And just speaking on it, we'll look into Darcy Tucker's game quickly.
oh my
He
goodness.
played about 3 full
I
quarters.
think it was 97 minutes, 0 touches.
0
That's
touches.
cardio. That's embarrassing.
That's genuine impressive. How do you not touch the ball?
They
for
brought
that
him in.
long?
He was there to tag Rosie.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. Well, Rosie was one of their better players and had 27 in a goal. So you've
You've let him
really-
off the chain.
you've
and
really
you haven't-
copped a bath there, haven't you, Das?
Rosie's even led him to the footy and he still can't find it.
Exactly. So
Oh, goodness.
not one of Darcy Tucker's finest game, but
We'll dig in on him later.
It
I'll
was
get the
a very-
GPS up. I'll have a look where he's been. So we'll have a look at that later in everyone's favourite segment, and we'll get around to it.
it was a very good. It was a good game, all in all. This one at Manuka Oval. Are the Dogs the real deal? What do you think, Tobes?
I reckon they are. Now that Bont's back, they've looked real good the last 2 weeks. The Giants, not sure about them.
Yeah, they've dropped 2 games in a row now, the Giants. And this was one they were expected to win. And I think, did we all back the Bulldogs, didn't we?
I said Giants.
You said
I
Giants.
said Giants.
No, I backed the Bulldogs and copped a bit of stick about it. But I was very confident they were going to win. And no, they were all over him. James Harms came back in the side and kicked the 4. Good on him.
Had 22 as well.
He had
He
22
was
and
good.
4.
Yeah.
Old jumpers.
Tell you the underrated pickups they've had through the midfield, the Doggies, like Matt Kennedy, and then
Yeah.
obviously the rise of Joel Frazier.
Correct.
But like this midfield's reinvigorated. Like, is it ignorant to say that losing Jack McRae was a good thing?
Yeah.
100%
And
because
losing Caleb Daniel as well.
Yeah.
definitely some of those like older, more experienced guys, and it's allowed some of the younger guys to run in through the middle. And another thing is it freed up a lot of salary cap as well with them gone. Something I was listening to.
It's always one of those. It's like the age-old kind of paradigm in the AFL that do you want to be with the young, cheap players that are reaching their capability instead of having the stars because it's so much more beneficial to your salary cap. Like Hawthorn at the moment have to strike right now because they'll have to go and re-sign all these players in the next 2 years, like
Correct.
Nick Watson, your Newcombs.
Correct.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
So they're at a good spot, the Doggies, but I think they've got to strike pretty soon.
They do have to strike as well, and they got Trelaw's a big in this week. He's back for
He's
him.
back.
Yeah.
And
so
then
I'm not expecting much of him for the first couple of weeks, but once he gets into it, puts a few games under his
I'm
belt for the
interested to
year.
see who that forces out of the midfield. Like Trelaw had an amazing year last year, deserves to run through that midfield.
Correct.
They'll rotate between as well Richards, Fraser, Liberatore, and Trelaw and Bont as well. They'll just
Kennedy,
continue.
yeah,
to
they'll
rotate.
Does
just-
Bont spend more time forward?
Maybe I don't
Yeah.
mind that.
Now with Sam Darcy out, he could play as like another tall back down there. With,
I like the
with
sound of
Norton.
that.
Correct.
They got Matty Kennedy's a gun.
Want to give a bit of credit as well to the young fella Jed Buslinger.
He was good.
He had a very good game his debut.
He was good. And old Riley Sanders has had a pretty good year as well. He'll get forced out
He'll
of that
get- yeah,
midfield.
he
But
will.
he's had a pretty good start to the year. Old Riley,
Yeah.
the
Mate.
Tasmanian boy.
Definitely. We're on the Sunday games now, and the Gold Coast Suns took care of the Swans.
The Suns were behind by around 30 points,
Yeah,
I reckon. They
this
came out of nowhere.
Correct.
Is this... I'm interested to see what you think here, Tobes. Is this a tale of the Suns being fantastic or the Swans being horrendous?
Bit of both, I reckon. The Suns are looking good, but Swans, I think they're sitting 14th or something now after dominating all last season. They are missing a lot of key players, but
They're quite dynamic, the Gold Coast Suns, going forward. Like, when they score quickly.
They very are.
Like, at Gather Round, that game against North, they scored very quickly.
No, you're... Yeah,
They've and even in the comeback against Richmond, scored very quickly. They're dynamic, and that can be a downfall if you're relying on those big scoring quarters to win games of footy.
And things, they've got a lot of scoring options. They got King, Ben Long's
Ben Long's a good player.
stood up.
yeah.
Who impressed me, I think he had the 3 on the weekend, was Jed Walter.
Oh, there's another one that should impress you.
And
Bailey Humphrey.
Bailey Humphrey. He had a great game. He needed a game like that as well, Bailey Humphrey, I thought.
He was phenomenal.
Mm.
I'll get his stat line up here.
He had 4 and 19, I think.
He had 18 touches, 4 goals, and 5 clearances. Just dominated. Absolutely dominated.
Dominated. That's a good game as
Took the
well.
piss.
Daniel Raleigh's been huge to the Suns this year as well.
So's Johnny
from
Noble.
Richmond.
Yeah, no, 2 great pickups of halfback. 2 very, say, underrated players and who've come into Gold Coast and have done their role well. So it'll be interesting to see them run off halfback for the next couple of years, and maybe either of the 2 of them can get rotated through the middle a bit,
Yeah.
get them going through there.
And then the unfortunate news of old Isaac Heaney. Injury.
Yeah, another one.
Came off injured. I don't know the long-term kind of
Have they said
role
anything
that's going to
yet?
play. I don't think they have yet. But it's more, if he's banged up already, they're in strife.
It's not what the Swans need.
Correct. No, not
Chad
with Goulden out.
re-signings for 2 years is something, but
See, I don't see that as a good move. Chad re-signing just for the 2 years, because he's on a lot for the next 2 years. The deal's worth about 1.4, 1.5 a year, and that's only for 2 years. Now, I think it's a bit overs on Chad Warner, 1.4. It just seems a little bit overs.
he hasn't had a fantastic year.
No, he hasn't. And
Yeah, last year was one of the best mids in the comp, but he hasn't quite lived up to it this season.
correct.
He's not accumulating the footy like he did last year.
Yeah.
And in a time where he probably has to step up a bit more, especially with Goulden out and now Heaney out, Chad Warner's going to need to be the one who steps up in that midfield and takes the midfield on his back. So it'll be interesting to see, but
At the moment, it seems Goulden is the vital piece of this footy club.
correct.
Because he's gone down, and all of a sudden, the team we thought were going to be top 4, or at least top 8,
It's
are
struggling,
withering away in the bottom 6.
Correct. But we'll
We'll keep tracking.
Over.
find out how they track for the rest of the year. Are the Blues back? What do we reckon, guys? They had a dominant performance over the Cats, and they've made it 3 in a row.
I think, unfortunately, as Collins supporters, the Blues are back, I reckon. Hate to say
I
it.
agree with you there, Tobes. They played a very good game. They look very dominant. Just was an overall good game. Geelong were down, and they will definitely bounce back.
Yeah.
But, no, the Blues look back. What do you think about that one, Jasper?
It's interesting because how you can play 4 very, very average games against some very average opposition to then come out and play against one of the best teams in the comp, a very beautiful brand of football.
Yeah, Harry Mackay looks so good. He's come back from his little break from mental health, and he
Just looks
Just dominated.
refreshed.
Yeah, he had a great game. He was dominant. He was a key presence.
And Kerno was lively as usual.
Correct. Kerno was lively, but Mackay was just there, and he wasn't just like, he was around the contest, but he made a presence. You could feel he was there. He was not getting beaten. He was bringing the ball to ground. So, no, well done to Harry Mackay. He had a great game.
and thoughts
I
about
thought.
George Hewitt, All Australian.
Yeah, I was
contender
about to
so
say
far.
that. I
Yeah.
think so.
He's having a great year.
Another 30 touches on Sunday.
He's a top 21 player in the comp,
Correct.
Yeah.
for sure.
And I picked him up. He's got the most Supercoach points
That's crazy.
for the year. And I picked him up we've got our own draft. And I actually picked him up in our draft because no one had him. He was a free agent.
Yeah.
So I've taken him. And I've brought him into my super coach because,
Well,
he's
yeah.
having a great year.
Tom DeConning had another good game.
He did, no.
He's just
did.
tracking along to be on 1.5 million a year next year.
Correct.
Just tracking along.
No,
For the
definitely.
Saners.
For the Sainers, you reckon?
Yeah.
They'll have to sign Nas before they worry about that. But
Yeah, they got a little
Yeah.
bit to do there for DeConning. But I reckon just a small slip up for Geelong. And I reckon they will definitely come back firing at Collingwood this week. So
that'd be a
be
fantastic
interesting.
game.
That's going to be game of the round. But no, Geelong, it's just a small bump in the road for them, and I reckon they'll be right.
I think we need to give some love to Bailey Smith. He had another
He had a
fantastic
great
game.
game.
Yeah.
If we're talking about George Hewitt All-Australian, Bailey Smith should be right in that equation.
Yeah, it's been the best for Geelong so far this season.
Another 29 touches,
Definitely.
9 tackles, 750 metres gained. Enough said.
Yeah, no, brilliant. Move on to the final game of the round, and
This
Hawks demolished West Coast. There was not much to this.
Anyone even watch this?
this went as expected. This is the one game I didn't watch all week.
Correct. No,
Don't-
I
Don't
didn't.
blame your Tobes.
I kept an eye on it, but no, I wasn't really watching too much into it. Ginnivan came back and he played all right, Jack, I thought. A little
Yeah,
his
kicked the
stats.
2 goals.
Kicked the 2 at the 18.
Yeah, a lot of love for Josh Battle there.
Yeah,
Hawks fans are
well done.
finally embracing the old man.
Definitely.
The margin could have been a lot worse if the Hawks could kick a bit straighter. They didn't kick too straight at all. I think it was 9.
Yeah, they missed a fair few,
18, 17, I reckon.
but no,
Something like that. Yeah.
there was not too much this game. We always knew Hawthorn were going to kill them. It was just a matter of how much, and it could have been a lot more.
Could have been a lot more. Our man, the pencil,
Henry
go back
Hustway,
into the side.
Henry Hustway had the 24.
24 touches.
He was Chewy out in the side. He's been dominating the twos.
Yeah, they weren't really they were effective, but they weren't
Fantastic.
fantastic. But for a first game back, Henry Hustway, well done, gets a pass for me.
Yeah, pass mark for me
Yeah.
too.
Hey, boys, I'm just going to jump in. Do you think Jack Gunston is in All-Australian form at the moment?
Probably
Nah.
He's in All-Australian form at the moment. Whether he will be in the All-Australian team it's almost going to rely on if your Jeremy Camerons, your Charlie Curnows step up. Because if no one steps up, then Gunston might be in almost as a default because he's kicked an absolute bag of goals to start the year.
He's been as good as he was in the Premiership years 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It hasn't dropped really.
Jeez, he's a good player.
He is, though, but
Longevity's a fantastic thing to
it's
look
just
at.
about how long he can keep this up for. We'll move on, and the MRO had a big say this week. They had a lot of big calls to make, and they've made some big calls.
And I agree, none of them are correct.
Correct. I agree with none of them.
Oh, Paul Curtis one is disgraceful.
Paul Curtis, that is shocking. What are we doing here? Paul Curtis has gone to tackle Josh Sin, and he's tackled him from behind, and I understand that he's kind of dived on his back a little bit, but he hasn't gone to plant his head in the ground. I understand the AFL want to see the motion of taking the player down to the side, which he hasn't done that. So I agree, it should be a push in the back free kick, but he has not gone with excessive force to drive his head into the ground. He's just dived on his back, but he has not used excessive force. That's just a unfortunate accident that's happened, that Josh Sin's hit his head and been concussed. It's an unfortunate accident. Couldn't help that. Paul Curtis could have tried to drive him down to the side, but he hasn't done that, which is why it's a push in the back free kick. That's all, nothing else. What do you guys reckon?
The interesting thing about it is Curtis actually maneuvered the legs around the outside of the body. So he was in the back, but his whole body weight wasn't really forcing the contact into the ground.
Correct.
He really did do everything he could to protect the head without initiating. Like, the only way he could protect the head better would be not even initiating the tackle and just letting him run free. Which, if that's where we're at as an AFL competition, then we've lost touch with footy.
Yeah. See Luke Parker's Instagram story?
Oh,
Come watch our touch footy
yeah,
game this
come watch our
Thursday.
touch footy game this Thursday.
Mate,
I'll be there.
that
I love
was-
touch footy.
Can't be serious with that one. And the young fella in the VFL, the Saints boy, what's his name? Alex Taru.
Yeah.
I believe it's how you pronounce his name. He got suspended for 4 weeks.
For
I
just a shirt front.
I didn't think the incident was that bad.
I didn't see much contact with the head at all. But
I think
Could have been one just.
Yeah.
But four's,
correct.
Four's full
I
on.
think 4's full on. That I understand that the footage in the VFL is not the best. There's no zoomed in. There's only one camera, so we probably haven't seen the full thing.
Yeah.
But from what it looks like, it just looks like he's like knocked him down to the ground from front on. It doesn't look like he's hit him that hard. So I think he's been a bit hard done by there.
Yeah.
And then Adam Chera copped a week for striking. I thought that was a bit stiff there as well.
Looked like he was just trying to get himself some space to get free.
Correct. That's all it really looked like.
I'm okay with that one. The other two I'm not, but I'm okay with that one in the sense that striking is one of those things in the AFL that probably could just go.
Yeah.
Correct.
Like there's really no reason we need to be throwing arms out to create space.
Correct.
The game's manoeuvring into a new echelon in the sense that people are getting free with their hips. Like, I don't know if you've seen all the players started training with Jack Viney's brother, like the jiu-jitsu and stuff.
Yeah, Todd,
They're doing all these techniques to like get free by like using their hips and like maneuvering their body around. It's less about just throwing an arm out and just knocking someone down to get free. So I'm okay with the Chera one. It
Correct.
really does show the direction the AFL's going.
Yeah, that one out of all of them is the best one.
But the Taru one, four is absolutely a joke.
No, ridiculous.
And then Curtis should be off.
Ridiculous. And we've got the Watchtower at the moment. And who's in the watch this week? Who needs to step up? Well, we've got Jamarra Ugle-Hagan in there. He's
On leave.
He's on leave.
And he's taking more leave.
I
Was
should
he?
say he was
Yeah, I was
already on
gonna
leave
say.
and he's taken more leave. On indefinite leave. And they said he hasn't been at the club in 3 weeks. I find it hard to believe that he was at the club 3 weeks ago. Don't know if I'm buying that one. Understand that life happens. Everyone goes through things. And there's probably a bit more to it. But you can't be seen out at pubs and clubs every
Drinking
Friday,
espresso
Saturday night.
martinis every week, every weekend.
Like, you can't be seen out doing all that stuff, partying and everything, every Saturday night, Friday night, when you're an AFL player who's on leave.
And
for
you have a
personal issues.
responsibility. You're a contracted employee.
Correct.
Like, at what point? Like, I wish there was an avenue where the Western Bulldogs could just say, well, we're not paying you, mate.
If it was a regular person who just didn't rock up to their job and, yeah.
They'd be
wouldn't get paid.
fired.
And was putting it on social media for everyone to see that they're out partying and everything. You're gone.
He also, like, you could say things happen in life and whatnot, but there's no buy-in to the footy club at all. There's no loyalty. There's no nothing. The club had their anniversary. Was it the 150th anniversary?
100th
Yeah.
in the VFL.
100th of the against Collingwood at the MCG.
Yeah.
And he was given a ticket. He was supposed to be there. Was supposed to walk out with the boys in the old Western Bulldogs polo. Didn't show up. Didn't tell anyone he wasn't going to show up and didn't show up.
But he went
There's no buy-in.
But he went in the NBL and the NRL.
That's what I mean. Like, there is absolutely no buy-in. He's doing exactly what he wants, and that's okay, but you're a contracted player. You
Correct.
owe your footy club that.
And the Western Bulldogs should not have to be paying him. They should be able to just cut his contract and say, no. Look,
You know what he'll do then, though? He'll go to Geelong and he'll win a premiership. Like,
Correct. He'll do something like that.
type of thing that happens, and it's just frustrating because the Western Bulldogs put time and effort into nurturing the player that he is to be.
From the age of about 12 as well. He was in their next
And-
generation
yeah,
academy.
It's just, how can you be? You're almost with a footy club for 10 years.
Yeah.
Just
Correct.
give absolutely nothing back.
I reckon he's probably done at the Bulldogs.
It's a fair dinkum joke, actually. Like,
It is.
I'm so off it. It
No,
is a fair
100%.
dinkum joke.
I reckon he's done with the Bulldogs because there is no way even if he does come back, he'd be having to mend relationships. If I'm a Bulldogs player, I wouldn't want to see him.
How could you, say if he got named, how could you, as a Bulldogs player, want to run out with him?
Correct. You wouldn't want to.
Like, you wouldn't be running out with a grin. You'd be running out behind him going, look at this idiot. Look at this idiot that couldn't play for us, couldn't dig in, and couldn't be loyal to this football club that he's been with for over 10 years through the academy.
But the thing is, though,
Absolute piss take.
he'll come round. He'll be fine when the Bulldogs play finals.
Oh, of course he
Watch,
will.
yeah,
Yeah,
watch.
of course he will.
He'll be fine.
Absolute piss take.
Moving from Jamarra, my man Jake Stringer. I said Stringer needs to go in the twos last week and copped a bit of hate for it. Well, he had 10 disposals and 2 behinds. Was, again, not effective. In his last 5 games, he's managed 2 goals. You managed 2 goals, Jake. You're in this Giants forward line. You've now lost 2 in a row. You need to go and have a spell in the twos. You need to get dropped. The Giants need to man up and make a statement. I'm not saying he's not a good player because he's still got the talent, got the ability. He just needs to go and have a bit of a break in the VFL and just get some form back. That's all he has to do.
I reckon you need to dig it harder, mate.
You know
You
what?
despise Jake Stringer. You don't think he belongs in the AFL anymore.
Once he's about to re-sign a contract, he'll turn it on.
Yeah, then
That's classic Jakey Stringer, the old 1-year contract.
correct. He'll kick 5 goals against West Coast, kick 4 against Hawthorn, and then all of a sudden, no, he's back. That's what Stringer does. That's what Zerha does. They all do it. That's all those fringe players do. There's no point to it.
And then we'll move on to old Darcy Tucker.
We talked about him earlier, but 0 touches in
0
97
touches in a game of footy when you attacking the guy that had fair dinkum some of the most of it
Correct.
is an absolute joke.
Correct.
Absolute joke.
Definitely. We'll move on now to the unsung heroes.
A few guys that deserve love and don't always get it.
Correct.
We'll let you talk about Zach Reid, Jasper.
Zach
as a Bombers
Reid,
man.
mate. He got a lot of slack early this year. That game against Adelaide, round 1.
Yeah.
No, round 2, sorry. Copped a genuine bag of goals. I reckon the 3 of the forwards, Thilthorpe, Tex, and Fogarty, I reckon they all matched up on him at one stage, and I reckon he absorbed about 9 goals. And then ever since then, he's just had a bit of grunt about him, a bit of will to fight.
Correct.
And he's been very composed with the footy. When he presents 2 heads at the footy, he tends to come down with it more than not, which is a fantastic sign for a young defender. But he's also, when you don't notice your key defenders, it's almost a great thing because you just know they're doing their job. He hasn't absorbed a lot of goals in the last few weeks. And he was very good on the weekend.
Yeah, probably the Bombers' best on the ANZAC Day.
Bobber's best, I reckon.
I noticed him the most.
Especially the back half with a backline that was deplorable. And I know he wasn't on the watchtower, but Ben Mackay was feeding him shithouse.
Yeah,
Correct.
Critta's called Mackay Brothers Ben better than Ashcroft's last week.
Is an absolute joke, Critter.
Probably didn't go well for you.
No, that one.
Ben Mackay is one of the worst players in the comp.
Yeah, no, he's
And
useless.
Zach Reid feeding him, did his job all friggin' weekend. Mate, Zach Reid doing the Bombers' unsung work. That's
Definitely.
where I want to leave it because I'm going to get a little too frustrated at old Ben Mackay. So we'll move on to Lockie Ash, who he's a trademark player in the AFL, but he doesn't get the love he deserves in the fact that he's averaged about 25 touches this year. He's phenomenal by foot kicking outside of the back line.
Correct. He's putting up a brilliant season. It's a position that I feel like the Giants can use very well off that half back role. And, he's doing very well. So, congrats to him. The next one is Riley West.
He's had a great year.
What do you reckon, Tobes?
He's kicked a lot of goals this year, playing as a small forward, and just played his role well.
No, definitely.
Dixie's he's doing it not at the level that Jack Higgins is doing it, but he's kicking his 2 or 3 goals a week and just walking off the field with that, and that's all he has to do. That's his role: apply pressure and kick a few goals, and that's what he's done. A few players in the comp are doing that really well. Michael Frederick as well is doing it,
Yeah.
and then
Correct.
obviously Jackie Higgins. They're not getting love, but we love the smalls at Swerve Weekly, and they kick a lot of goals.
They're doing their bit.
And then Tobes knows a lot about old Matty Johnson. 27 touches on the weekend. Another great game.
Yeah. Look, I haven't watched a lot of Freo this year, so I didn't know much about him, but he looked good Friday night.
Flying under the radar. And that's what it's all about for the unsung heroes.
He was, and I didn't know much about him. I noticed him on Friday night and thought, geez, this young fella's having a really good game.
He played a lot of good footy last year as well.
So, no, well done to Matty Johnson.
It's about time they get some love.
Game.
I'm glad Mal isn't on here to disrupt what unsung heroes is really all about. But
it's because we give unsung heroes. I'm the producer, by the way, but we give unsung heroes to people that already get the love they need.
No, we don't.
They already get the love. Like,
do you remember Heath Chapman? He probably doesn't deserve the love. He had 7 touches on the weekend. But
yes, but you do know what I'm saying. The last couple of weeks with the unsung heroes, we're just giving them to players that are just we give them love, but they have one really good game and they're unsung now. That's what I'll give to it. But
what are your thoughts on the segment today?
I like it today. Like, on 3 out of the 4 players you probably don't hear often.
Who's the one that
Ash? The one I don't hear often is Riley West from the Dogs.
Really?
Oh yeah. All right, he's very Well, I mean, I'll watch more Dogs games than Giants, Essendon and Freo, but still, I don't know the Heath Chapman bloke until today, or Friday night, should I say, and the other two, Zach Reed. But yeah, I think this is a good segment of unsung heroes this week, and I think you got to back it up from here now,
No worries.
Jasper.
Back to the old producer chair, Mal.
Definitely. We'll move on now. NBA playoffs.
Bit of NBA talk. We'll get some live. I'll get some live scores for you now, so we can have a real.
Yeah,
update.
boys. I'll just give you some live updates right now. So Indiana Pacers have just beaten the Milwaukee Bucks to win the series 4-0.
They were down by 5 with 15 seconds to go.
They were down 7 with the last minute.
Tyrese Halliburton hit the game winner.
From 3?
No, it was a layup, I'm pretty sure, if I'm correct.
Jeez.
Wow.
Bit of controversy after that game as well, with Giannis and Tyrese's dad going at it after the game.
Really?
Really, yes.
Wow.
Giannis and Tyrese's dad locking heads with each other, and bit of words said here and there. Thoughts on that one, Toby?
Look, I'm not much of an NBA fan, so I don't know what's really going on.
Jeez.
Sorry, but yeah.
They've locked heads with each other.
Yeah, so that's that bit of news. And currently in the Detroit game, and this is Detroit versus the New York Knicks. I can tell you right now that the Detroit Pistons are currently up by 6. Oh no, they're down by 3. I just got updated. They're down by Detroit's up by 3. Sorry, 74-73. End of the third quarter.
I've got 77 Pistons to the 74 Knicks at the moment.
Yeah, that's what I got. Yep.
Yeah.
I've got Bronson with only 13 and OG with 16. And over on the Pistons side, Asar Thompson. Was it Amen? It's Asar.
No, it's Asar.
Asar, yeah. Asar Thompson's on 19 points with Tobias Harris on 15.
Wow. Thanks, Mal. So that locks up Indiana into the second round. They'll take on the Cavs, and that's our first confirmed matchup. So we may as well start there. What do we reckon's going to go? Do you reckon the Cavs have got the Pacers covered?
I reckon that series could go to 6 or 7 games.
I think it could go 7 games.
It could.
That sounds like our matchup of the round.
That'd be a very good matchup as well. It'd be interesting.
I think the interesting part about that will be Miles Turner defending the paint with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley.
They got Pascal Siakam as well.
Pascal, yeah, that's an interesting series.
That will be interesting. That'll be very interesting. And the next one, the Celtics should go through here.
The Celtics are down at the moment, but
the Celtics are down by 3 points in the second quarter to the Orlando Magic.
Wow.
And they should take on the Knicks.
I think if the Knicks close it out today, we'll run with that prediction.
If the Pistons win today, though, they'll go back to Detroit and then back in New York. Who knows?
Garden Game 7.
That'd be elite. That'd be elite.
That'd be Trae Young.
I genuinely think there could be an upset brewing here in Detroit.
They could.
You think they'll come back?
I think Kate Cunningham can do an absolute blinder here.
They could.
But obviously they'll get swept by the Celtics in the next round. But it'd be good for the city of Detroit as well.
Jalen Brunson, I think wins it for the Knicks today. I think
Definitely.
he steps up in the second half, in the last quarter, I mean, and I think they'll close it out. But we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep giving you a bit of an update. Not that you'll need it, because this will probably be posted after the Knicks go into the second round. But anyway, we'll move on to the western side of the bracket. So the OKC Thunder are the only team that has successfully moved on to the second round. But we've got some interesting series brewing.
The Nuggets Clippers one.
That's fantastic to view.
Correct. And they're in Denver today, and that will be a good one. I reckon I've taken the Nuggets. They're not the favourites, but I reckon the Nuggets get this.
Aaron Gordon, game winner.
Correct.
A lot of game winners going on in the NBA. You just got to love the first round of the playoffs. Like, it's such a great time because there's 2 or 3 games on every day, and, like, they all mean, like, the world.
Correct.
Whereas, like, you get to the finals, and everyone loves the finals, but you only got 1 game you got 2 games every 3 days, essentially. You got a travel day in the middle of it. It's not as much basketball as you want to view. So I think the first round of the playoffs is
The best.
is often my favourite time of year.
Correct. And last one, Timberwolves. They're probably going to do the Lakers here.
LeBron doesn't go down without a fight.
He won't, but it'll be
3-1
interesting.
3-1 seems to ring a bell in old Bron's head.
We all remember 2016.
We all do remember 2016.
Correct. And the Warriors.
He's
do
missing a
look-
fundamental piece, though. He needs Matthew Dellavedova in his pocket.
Of course.
Oh. And then, the Rockets and the Warriors.
Warriors are back, and they've won this
They'll
comfortably.
win this comfortably. The Rockets had a fantastic year, but it's one of those things where you're not always experienced enough to go the whole way in the playoffs.
Correct.
And there's no discredit to the Rockets here. They had a fantastic year. But I think the Warriors are just a touch better.
Correct. More experience. Move on now. There's a new segment here. Critta's Multi.
Critta's Multi, mates.
What have I got for you this week?
Will you be placing it on this branding? Or will you be placing it on a different bookie?
Not sure. Whatever.
Not sure?
It's the best.
Haven't done that extensive research yet.
No. So I've got the Bombers head-to-head. I think they will give North Melbourne a bath.
Yeah,
Touch
comfortably.
footy.
Correct.
Yep.
I don't think the Bombers are much chop, but again, I don't think I think they're still miles better than North. So I think they do that. And then Fremantle, St Kilda. I think Fremantle will win that one comfortably. And I think Sarong and Brayshaw both step up, but I reckon Caleb Sarong for 30.
Can I ask you a question here?
Go.
Who does Winhager go to?
You'd go to Brayshaw.
You'd hope.
Hope, but no.
Critta's multi, he's hoping he goes to Brayshaw.
Yeah.
Even if he does, I'd still take Sarong for 30. And then Jamie Elliott, 2 or more goals, done it in his last 3 games. Generally, he likes playing against Geelong as well.
Coming off a heater.
He is. So I reckon 2 or more, $1.75, you take that one. And last game of the round, the Sunday night, Brisbane, they will take care of the Suns comfortably at the Gabba.
Probably the best Q clash of all time this week.
I think so
both
too,
sides
but I think
Correct.
Brisbane have been walking their dog for years.
Yeah.
And I don't think
They
that's
have
going to
been.
stop.
No, I don't think it will either. $1.50 for Brisbane.
You'd smash that.
You're taking that.
You'd
So
gobble that up.
you get about $7.50 for that. So let's see
Please gamble responsibly.
Of course.
that one.
Always gamble responsibly.
Move on. We'll go quick predictions for the upcoming round.
Hey boys, just a bit of breaking news before we go into the predictions for this round. Ross Lyon has just come out and torched the AFL tribunal system, saying Noah Bolter got 4 weeks for an assault off the field, and it's a 6-week penalty for Taru. He's out for 6 weeks, obviously. And the-
4.
4, but 6 including the bye and stuff like that. Just your quick thoughts on that one, boys.
Oh, Bolter shouldn't be playing at all.
Fair play. You know what? Fair play. I'm a bit hit and miss with Ross. I love Ross at times, and then Ross does something that I'm like benching Hugo Garcia. That really pissed me off as a Supercoach fantasy man. But like, you love to hate Ross and you love to love Ross. But I think dig in. I think play on. I agree completely. Noel Bolter should stay away from any AFL ground. I think the fact that he can't even play a night game
Correct.
even if it's in his home city, says enough.
That's funny.
Sub him out at halftime. No, sub him out forever. Get him off my field. Get him out of my face.
He can only play day games in Melbourne.
Yeah.
It's a point.
You know what, though? The fascinating thing is Richmond have 8 out of the next 9 games at the MCG.
Well, they need all the help they can get.
Yeah, don't they?
We'll do a quick predictions
We'll run through them quickly.
for,
Better
and we've
get the
got
games
the
up.
Thursday night game, the Bombers against North. What do you reckon, Tobes?
And Bombers should do it comfortably, but strange decision by AFL to put that one on the Thursday.
Correct. I
This is
don't
a
know who
quick
thought that one.
insight into Toby's tips. Will these be your tips, these predictions? Or
Yeah.
they will be.
So I reckon Bombers by around 30, 40 points.
Yeah, we'll get Tobes to say his margin because we know everyone loves Toby's tips.
Correct. Then we
I got Bombers too, yeah.
Then the Dockers and the Saints at Marvel. I reckon the Dockers will
Yeah.
do this one.
I'll take the Saints under the igloo.
Oh,
They love it under there.
Dockers will just get the job done by
I reckon
15
Dockers
points.
will do it by about
15
4 or
points.
5 goals. I think they're miles better than the Saints. Then the Bulldogs make the long trek down to Ballarat. And Port coming with them. Again,
Doggies.
I've got the
think,
Doggies.
yeah, I
comfortably.
think the Dogs will give them a bath.
It's always a rough trip out there.
It
That could be
is.
60. That could be 60
That could be a
points.
lot,
Bod,
yeah.
Bod kicks
50
4
points.
and has 25.
Correct. And the next one, the Crows and the Blues.
At Adelaide? is it?
Adelaide Oval.
Adelaide
yeah.
Oval.
I've got the Crows.
I've got the Blues.
Yeah, I'm with the Blues. I think I was very bullish on the Crows before the year started. And yes, they've only struggled away from home. I completely understand that. But I just think the hot form of the Carlton Football Club, the star power,
Correct.
you never know. But Geelong took care of them at Adelaide Oval.
Yeah.
And Adelaide played pretty well that day and they still got taken care of. So I think Carlton are well a sniff in this match.
Who's Weeding going to go to?
I'd go to
Fogarty,
Philthorpe.
apparently, Thorpe's injured.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
did the
Fogarty's
finger, sorry.
a chance to miss as well. So he could just go straight to Tex Walker and give
Could.
him a bath.
Well,
And
if two key folds are out, I reckon I've got Carlton in the end.
the rumour is that Fogarty will get up. But
Yeah.
he's under an injury cloud.
He is.
And then a big Saturday night.
Big Saturday night game. I reckon we'll take care of Geelong.
I think so. too.
20 points, I reckon.
20 points.
It'll be a close one.
4 goals, I reckon.
Welcome back to Cakewalk.
No, I reckon we'll take care of Geelong comfortably. We move on to West Coast Melbourne.
Is anyone going to be watching this?
Not a chance. When the same
It's
exact same
scheduled
time,
exact
Two of
same
the
time
best
as
teams in the
Collingwood,
comp are playing.
well, the
Is anyone going to tune in
No chance.
to what may have been relevant in 2018?
Correct. Like, no.
15th versus 18th? No.
The old prelim final of 2018.
Even just schedule it at least like 40 minutes later. Gives West
Yeah,
Coast,
just give
gives
us
Perth
something-
a little bit of later start.
Like, give us something to watch at quarter time and at half time and at 3/4 time, because that's all they're there for.
Correct, but no, I reckon Melbourne will do this one.
Yeah, Melbourne.
Me too.
Comfortably 40 points.
And then we've got another derby clash. The Swans taking on the GWS Giants at the SCG.
Both been out of form, but I reckon the Giants.
Yeah,
The
Giants.
Swans are that far out of form.
Correct.
They're itching for Errol Goulden.
Correct. Like both teams out of form, but I just reckon the Swans are just that much worse than Giants at the moment. Hawks will take care of Richmond.
That's okay.
Comfortably.
I reckon Richmond will still put up a bit of a fight, but no, it will be at least.
Another 50, 60 point win for the
I
Hawks.
reckon around 5-6 goals. But
Yeah, they fight the Tigers. They do
Correct.
fight. And then, as we touched on earlier, the biggest Q clash in the history of Queensland. I think, as Critta said in the multi, Brisbane too good.
correct.
Yeah.
No, I think Brisbane win this one, and I think they do it comfortably.
Tune into Tobes' tips where he will probably change to Carlton if Fogarty gets ruled out. So we'll keep you posted on that one.
Check the Insta's TikTok for it.
Yeah,
Correct.
we'll keep you
Look
updated.
at the Critters call now.
Yeah. Best segment.
So
What have you got today for us, Crit?
I've got a few calls here. And it does relate back to the Carlton Adelaide one. I think Carlton are going to come out firing. They're going to kick the first 5 goals of the game. And I think they're going to win this 40 plus,
Wow.
is what I reckon. And I reckon Corey Durden
Our man.
will put on a show this week again. And he'll kick about 3 or 4.
Wow.
So I reckon that game's going to unfold. And I reckon Paddy Cripps will have a brilliant game in the midfield. 30 touches, 2 goals.
I'm interested to hear your guys' opinion on this. Crippa obviously hasn't had a fantastic start to the year. He's been solid. No one's disregarding that.
But he'd still be
But
leading
do you
the Brownlow.
think, that's what I'm about to say, do you think him and Dacos, obviously Dacos has had a better year than Crippa to start, but do you think they will poll terrifically again like they did last year? Do
I
we
think
think
Nick
we're seeing a
will.
trend?
Cripps won't so far.
Not at the moment, Cripps.
You never know. Like,
Hewitt would be taking a fair
it's not
few
like
off
he's
him.
missing games with injury.
Yeah,
Like,
and Hewitt will take a few. They've lost 4 games already.
but do you
Correct.
think
The last few weeks he's played right, but he might have 6 votes so far.
Yeah.
the umpires tend to be biased, and not biased, but they tend to be. You have to put a real good string of footy for a few years together before you're right under the nose of the umpire every week, and Cripper's obviously done that.
Unless you're Bontempelli, you still can't get under
Yeah,
those
still
umpires.
can't get a vote bond. Oh no. I just think I can see a world where Cripper's like top 3 in the Brownlow still.
Correct.
In a year where there's been so many great players that have had such good starts to the year. Like Andy Brayshaw should be up there.
No, definitely.
Nick Dacos will be up there. Who else do we
Yeah.
think? Zachy Merritt.
Neil will be around.
Neil will be around the mark.
Side bottom so far.
Still
No,
Yeah,
Tobes.
He would have got 3 on the weekend.
I just, you know what?
He's
I'm-
equal leading
another
the
thing I'm
coaches'
interested
votes.
about. So you think Steele will get the 3?
Yeah.
Because it's not always confirmed that the medal winner gets the 3 votes.
No, not necessarily.
But he did have 35.
Not that we're all about betting odds here, but Jamie Elliott came into $1.20 after he kicked that 5th goal to win the award, and when the market closed, and still side bottom still won. So I'm just interested. Jamie Elliott could get the 3 votes.
He could. It'll be interesting.
It'll be interesting.
Find out.
I'm always fascinated about that because it's often in those clashes that the medal winner doesn't always get 3 votes.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's very interesting.
That's true.
Righto.
Thank you very much for tuning in this week, guys, for another great episode. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, where this will be posted. Thank you very much, gents.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next week.
Big debut, Tobes.